All right, today we're diving into a theory that is genuinely mind-bending. It comes from a source called the Sentient-Field hypothesis, and it connects a super bitter 19th century math feud to, well, the very fabric of our reality. The big idea: the universe doesn't actually have a past. It only has right now. And believe it or not, our story starts with this guy, a Russian mathematician named Andrei Markov. The source we're looking at says that his huge intellectual battle, all about free will, of all things, accidentally stumbled upon what this theory claims is the universe's basic operating system. So, like I said, this all kicks off not in a physics lab, but in a really, really fierce debate. It's between two mathematicians back at the turn of the 20th century, Andrei Markov and a guy named Pavel Nekrasov. And the thing they were arguing about? Free will. So the core of their argument was this. Nekrasov was basically saying that a key rule in probability, the law of large numbers, only works if events are totally independent of each other. He looked at human choices and said, hey, our choices obviously depend on what we just did, so they must have this special free will that math just can't touch. And Markov, he was having none of it. He was absolutely determined to prove him wrong. Okay, so to win this super specific, super mathematical fight, Markov came up with something totally revolutionary. It's a way to predict a chain of events, even when those events depend on each other. And today, yep, we call it the Markov chain. Now, the key to this whole thing, the real magic, is this idea of being memoryless. Think about it like a game of chess. To predict what a player is going to do next, you don't need to know every single move they've ever made in their entire life, right? No, you just need to know where the pieces are on the board right now. All that history, all that past information, it's all kind of compressed into the present moment. And that is the incredible efficiency of Markov's idea. Instead of needing this impossible, infinite library of everything that's ever happened, you just need one snapshot, a picture of the present. It makes the whole problem of what happens next way, way simpler.
Okay, so we've got this super efficient, memoryless prediction engine. Cool. But what does 100-year-old math have to do with the universe? Well, this is where things get really wild. We're going to bring in a modern, pretty speculative theory from our source. It's called the Sentient-Field hypothesis, or SFH for short.
And yeah, this is a huge leap, so buckle up. The theory doesn't start with particles or gravity or any of that stuff. It starts with the idea that subjective experience, feeling, is the fundamental fabric of reality. And this universe of pure experience, it's got a few non-negotiable rules, what they call axioms.
So the theory is built on these three core axioms. You've got sentience first, which we just talked about. Then there's the 10 to the 24th law about how reality organizes itself. But the one we really need to focus on, the absolute linchpin, is the second one, the finite quota. This says that the total amount of feeling or distinct experiences in the universe is limited. Think of it like a cosmic paint box. There's a finite number of colors, like the experience of red or the feeling of warmth, that the universe has to work with.
And that right there creates a massive problem. A paradox, really. If the universe can create all this insane complexity, we're talking everything from subatomic particles to entire galaxies, how in the world does it run all of that on a limited budget of feeling? How does it not just run out? And this is where we circle right back to that 19th century math feud. Because according to this theory, Markov's memoryless chain isn't just some clever tool for mathematicians. It's the universe's ultimate efficiency hack. It's the answer to that paradox. See, the universe saves a drop-dropping amount of resources because it doesn't bother storing a complete history of everything that's ever happened. It doesn't need to. All it needs to know is the exact state of the field right now to figure out what to do next. To make this a little easier to grasp, the source material uses a really great analogy: Google's original PageRank algorithm. The thing that decides what search results you see first. It turns out to be a really powerful metaphor for how importance and maybe even consciousness could work in this kind of universe. Think about it. In the Google system, the importance of a web page is basically just the probability that you'll end up on it by clicking links. And that probability is determined entirely by its current network of connections, what's linking to it right now, not its history. So the SFH theory says the exact same principle applies to this cosmic field of experience. A soul's importance, or what the theory calls sentient depth, is just a measure of how many meaningful connections it has to other parts of the field. And with all those connections in place, the universe then has to make a choice about what happens in the very next moment. And at every single instant, it's making a choice. It's constantly balancing two forces. On one hand, you have alpha, which is the pull towards stability and keeping things coherent. On the other hand, you have beta, which is the push towards creating something brand new and more complex. It's always optimizing the present for both order and novelty.
And get this, the source suggests this whole optimization thing isn't just random. Nope, it's a precise 6-step process that happens every single moment, dictating exactly how reality transitions from one instant to the next. The source calls it a cosmic symphony, so let's walk through the steps. First, you start with that finite budget of experience Q. Second, the universe considers all the possible ways that budget could be arranged. Third, it measures the current state. How connected is it? How much variety is there? Then step 4, the crucial part. It applies that Markov rule weighing stability versus novelty. Step 5, bam! It executes a local snap into the next most optimal state. And finally, step 6, the chain of all these tiny little snaps is what we experience as the flow of time and reality. It's how the music keeps playing, one note at a time.
This quote from the source really just nails the whole idea, doesn't it? Reality doesn't have a history. It only has a current state and a very good transition matrix. So what we think of as the smooth flow of time, of cause and effect, it might just be the universe running a super efficient calculation over and over, figuring out the next frame based only on the one it's in right now.
Which, of course, leads to a final, really provocative question. What does all of this mean for, well, for you, for us? If the universe itself is memoryless, what does that imply about our lives, our precious memories, and the choices we think we're making?
And that is the incredible question this theory leaves us chewing on. Is your life a story that's being written with a real, meaningful past, or is it just the next most likely state in a vast, cosmic calculation constantly being refreshed? I mean, wow, it's just a fascinating place where math, physics, and philosophy all collide.